Let's learn to recognize the roots of religion. You see, in every religion, we are put on a ladder that fails to reach heaven and we're told to climb. And it's hard to see this in ourselves, so it's good to see and to acknowledge what it is that we're looking for. Because religious legalism, it grows in all of our hearts without effort. Let me show you. In religion, first, our performance leads to God's acceptance. Every one of us have a heart that says, if I'm doing well, he must be happier with me. My performance leads to his acceptance. Second, in religion, details matter more than God's purposes. What does that mean? It means we come to instructions in the Bible and he says things like, hey, love your neighbor as yourself. We're like, okay, hold on. I need details. Who's my neighbor? Is it that person and that person? Is it this side of the tracks? Is it that side of the tracks? This skin color, that economic wealth, that alma mater? Is it everybody? Like, I need the details. I need to know exactly what it is. Sometimes we hear and we read instructions like this: let there not be a hint of sexual immorality in you. And a lot of people have asked me throughout my whole ministry life, okay, what's the hint? How far can we go before we cross a line? Here's what you need to remember, okay? In any instruction, if our heart is primarily in that moment driven by religion, we want to know the details. But if our heart is driven by the gospel, we stop thinking first about the details and we start saying, there is no one in the history of the world who has been more committed to my good than Jesus. And he's given me this instruction. And so what good purposes might he have in mind for me? But most of us, we simply want to know the rules. And that's one of those strands that we should look at and go, that's not healthy. Third, in religion, we add rules to inflate our assurance. We're like, 10's not enough. What if we had 10,000 rules? I might be able to win in more of them. Might be able to pass more of these rules. The fourth, which is really an interesting thing, is that we add loopholes for relief. You see, one of the laws, of course we do this because we all stumble over the law. So one of the rules of the Sabbath day is you could only carry a certain amount of weight for so many steps away from your house. And so beginning early, centuries and centuries ago, I believe it was either the 3rd or 4th century, Orthodox Jews, all the way to today, they utilize this thing called eruv, E-R-U-V. And what it is you'll see an Orthodox Jew, and they will attach a wire to their house. And then they will attach that wire to other houses and buildings in order to create a perimeter, because now the perimeter is now my house. And within that perimeter, I can carry whatever I want because it's still home. And you say, well, man, that's interesting. Like, we could just, like all the houses in Raleigh, we could just have one big wire going around. Like, how big can you make a perimeter so that you can stay within it? Well, I don't know how big. I just know what they did in Manhattan. In Manhattan, this is the actual map of the eruv today in New York. It literally covers almost all of Manhattan, and it's done with a fishing line. Just look it up. eruv, Manhattan. You'll see it. I promise you. It's a loophole that says, man, we can't keep it, so what could we do? Religion. And fifth is we find comfort in comparison. See, these traits, don't you see, they're all in us? And so don't treat the Pharisees worse than you should. And the reason is because the Pharisees only show us what our own religious bent would look like if it was fully resourced and authorized. So examine your heart.